Hi everyone, it's Peter from PS Sound, and this is now part 3 of this door enclosure build. In this part I'm going to kind of make the final shape and integrate this plywood structure to the door. It's not going to be anything crazy, just very simple build, kind of more to the ears and less to the eyes. So the enclosure was now measured. It's 13.2 liters or 0.47 cubic foot, which is more than enough for the driver, 8-inch driver I selected for this application. So what am I going to do? Nothing new to any of you. Basic body filler and build up the shape, because obviously there's a quite big step up there. Make that nice and smooth all around, and make a rough shape that I'm happy with. Then after that I can mount the whole enclosure on the door and then fill up the edges and make the final lines. The first layer has been applied and I left a nice mess so you can see how messy this job is. A good advice to those people who don't know that it's way better to do the very first rough sanding when the filler is in green stage. As far as I know, that's the normal term for it, when the filler is not fully hardened, kinda half solid. You can easily scrape it off or chop it off, whatever you use a Stanley knife, Orfa knife, whatever you call it. Or I found this from a friend of mine. I don't know what the name is for this tool, but I think plasterers use it. It's like a cheese grater, and you can easily just shape the filler with it, and then you can run through it with sandpaper or whatever tool you have. There's still a nice big dip there I have to fill up, but after this I'm gonna run through it with sandpaper, just hand sand it, and then apply another layer of filler, and then it's getting there. It's been hand sanded now, and I can see all the small gaps that I still have to fill. There's a bigger one down there, all those little holes, plus this needs a bit more level, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's coming along. And then once I'm happy with this, then I mount it on the door and shape it to the door card. Fine sanding is now ready. You can see the grey was the kind of body filler, and the white is the fine filler. There are still real tiny imperfections, like those little holes, but that's not bad. I'm gonna do that right at the end after I do the filler work on the door. So yeah, now it's going back onto the door. I taped over the door cards and the door all around, so once I put the enclosure back into place, then I can do a bit of filler work all around. I don't think I have to comment anything on this. You see I lined my target line up, and then I have to fill that up with a bit of fiber filler. and then maybe we'll get to the final shape. Now the filler is curing. Well, there's a layer of fiber filler, that sort of green stuff you can see just a little bit over there. A layer of fiber filler underneath the fine filler. We'll let it cure for a while to make sure it's super solid before I pull the enclosure off, because I don't want that to crack or anything like that. And then I can trim it back to the line that I drew on the tape earlier. In theory, the marker should appear on the back side of the filler, so then I can easily cut it to the right line. No, it's out of the car. It was yeah, quite a challenge to pull it off, because there was quite a big surface area where the filler stuck to the tape on the door cards, and the enclosure was literally hanging without bolts in, and yeah, I had to do tricks to pull it off. But now it's out. It's nice and rough at the moment, but then I show you the back, that will make a bit more sense. So you can see that black line all the way. That's my mark that I want. So I have to take all the rest over off. And normally I would use a flap disc on the angle grinder, which creates quite a lot of dust, but it's very efficient. But then I realized that I've got a new tool. Recently I bought one of these multi tools. Yeah, they do all sorts of crazy things. So yeah, with one of these heads you can just trim it easily all the way back, and then I've got the desired line. Then just one final layer of fine filling, and it's gonna be there. I'm back on the project. You might have seen that I had a few days off, but at least I could try what it's gonna be like. So I dropped the speaker in, and some of you might have seen the first impression video. I was literally over the moon, and yes, at least now I can see where it's going, and it's all good, everything that I expected. So now I have to carry on and finish this. I'm not quite happy with the lines. As you can see, the top of the enclosure, the white line, is not parallel with the door card handle. It's a bit thinner here, a bit thicker there, so I have to take a bit more off from the enclosure. I want it parallel all the way. Make it more parallel here as well, because it's not quite there yet. And I'm not sure about the end. And to keep it straight, the transition is not that nice. It's okay, and it depends, I guess, on everyone's taste what the final line is, but I may take it back up, so when it drops down it's gonna come up at the end. That may work better. We will see. If it doesn't work out, I'll just chop it straight back. And I have a bit more filling to do right there on the top. There's a couple of millimeters missing I have to fill up, and other than that, it's gonna be then just the fine filling to get rid of these little holes here and there, and then I have to make the custom greer for it and trim it. It's all hardened now. I filled the gaps up and the places that I want it to, like over there, and there was a small gap down there. So now I can pull the enclosure off, make the desired lines and shapes, sand it, put it back, and do it all over again. I've missed a step, but basically I've done pretty much the same thing. Fill it, sand it, fill it, sand it. That gap I had there is good. Add a bit more filler there. I have to sand that off. On the top you can see I have to take it down to very nice and straight, those couple of millimeters. I had a gap here that's nicely filled up now, sand it off, but I have to take it back to the back line to make it perfect, the contour of the door card. And then yeah, this end bit is the tricky one, because that was like straight. I filled it up, sanded it first, and I didn't like the curve because it wasn't quite following the contour of the door card. And then the height of that corner wasn't enough, so actually now it looks pretty cool from the back, because you can see the steps. You can see it over there in layers, and you can also see the black line, which is my target line. Again, we will see what it's like. If I don't like it, I'll do it again. And over there as well, I have to bring it up to the black line. Yeah, this is kind of the most time-consuming part of this whole thing. Or, I mean, the results of this is not that drastic like when you build the enclosure. You can quickly see big results, whereas here it just takes hours and hours just to get those lines perfect. But then once it's perfect, everyone can tell that, yeah, you know, they can't fault it. But sometimes it also depends on, you know, patience. I can also get to the point that I just feel like, fuck it, leave it, it's good enough. Sound is the, you know, the main thing. I could make beautiful inserts here, panels, edge-lit perspex in it, all sorts of crazy things. But then that adds time, days and days and days. And as this is my car, I understand that, yes, this has to represent what I can do, but at the same time, I don't get paid for this. So, yeah, I try to push it to the limit, but as I said, sound is the focus, and then now I just try to make it look, you know, acceptable. And finally, here we are. Yeah, it was a little bit time consuming, but well, the dash build wasn't any quicker or anything else I've done in the Honda so far. But finally, I'm now about to test these. Now both sides are ready. And yeah, I haven't showed these. I added threaded inserts for machine boards, so you can take the boards out, you know, in and out a million times. It's not like using wood screws which fail in the wood. And also I added those glands where you can feed the cable through, and then once the cable is through with, you know, this, you can just do it up and it seals it perfectly. Yeah, I could have added any other socket, but I just feel like, you know, in this way I have no link in the system. It's direct cable running to the speakers, and that definitely seals the enclosure. So yeah, I think this is now the end of part 3. I'll have a bit of fun in the next few days to test these, and I guess in part 4 I'm going to show you once these are trimmed and fitted, and what's my impression about this stereo front sub project. Yeah, I think I'll be fine. First impressions were great. So yeah, we will see what's next after this. If you like the video, guys, you know what to do. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Like it, share it, let me know what you think. Drop a line, comment please, and I hope to talk to you soon.